Hey there, this is Kat Stancic with the Revenue Accelerator Podcast. And today I have Michael Delon. So I want to share a little bit about Michael because he's a good one. Has created the credibility for his clients. And we're going to go into like why credibility is so important. And he's America's foremost authority on credibility marketing, a term that more people need to understand and know about. He helps his business owners publish books and position them as the expert in their field. They seek him out to clarify their brand strategy, make them the best-selling authors, and set up their profitable podcast. They use his credibility marketing strategies to gain more clients, get more referrals, and grow their revenue. Yes, please. He's also the #1 Amazon best-selling author of On Marketing. So, Michael, thank you for coming today. And anything that I missed there that you want to share with anybody, usually I don't let people expand on their bio, but I'm going to let you do this.
Yeah. Thank you. No, thanks for having me. This has been fun. This has been a long time coming, right? We've had to reschedule a couple of times, but it's just been really fun to be here. So I'm super stoked. And that's what I help people do, because business owners struggle with marketing because there's so many shiny objects and they get confused and then they stagnate and they don't know what to do. I just help people clarify their brand strategy, which is really, it's your story. We hear a lot about telling your story and your origin story, which is really important, but I still don't think most people understand that you've got a story, Kat. There's a reason you do what you do. And that story, when told properly, sets you apart from everybody else.
Yep.
We help you identify that, discover that, and then roll that into your marketing, whether you become an author, and we can obviously help you create your book and do all that, or whether you go through one of our coaching programs where we help you understand how to clarify that message and then use our marketing systems, which I want to make sure we talk about that, because I talk to business owners all day, every day. They don't have systems. And so we've created systems that we give to our clients that run in a perpetual manner. They're evergreen. So we could go on and on, but it's fascinating.
Yeah, no. So what does credibility have to do with branding? So, I get the know, like, and trust factor, but I know you take that concept a level deeper.
Yeah, I'm looking for a new word or a new phrase. Actually, I'm so tired of saying, well, people have to know, like, and trust you. We've heard that for decades, and it's so true, but you have to be believable. But the credibility aspect is really what happens. See, marketing happens in the mind of your audience. It's how they think about you. Okay, let me tell you a quick story. My whole business life and everything changed back in 2013 when I escaped prison. Okay. And now it wasn't a literal prison. It was an emotional prison, because I'd spent 2 years on a job that I hated. And so I finally got out of that, started a marketing consulting firm, had a client, helped them. They'd refer me to you. I'd say, hey, Kat, I can help you grow your business. You'd meet with me. We'd have a great conversation. And somewhere in that, you'd say, hey, Michael, what have you done for the last 2 years? Well, I'd spent about 10 years in a family ministry, helping build marriages and families according to biblical blueprints, right? And I say, well, I'd help build marriages and families. And you say, Michael, that's great. Wait, what an honorable thing to do. Look at the time, Michael. I've got another meeting. And you'd usher me out the door. And because I had no credibility, you didn't see me as somebody, you saw me as a ministry guy, not a marketing guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get any clients. I had to fix that. So I was praying at my church one day, and God kind of laid on my heart. It's like, well, why don't you take all of your marketing strategies and put them in a book? And so I did. I published On Marketing in 2013. Then I would call you and I'd say, Kat, I think I can help you with your marketing. I'd mail you a copy of my book. A week later, I'd walk into your office. There it was. My book was on your desk, dog-eared, highlighted, underlined. You'd read my book. In that meeting, Kat, you'd say, now, Michael, in your book, you said, how do you help me do that? And you'd hire me. Now, let me ask you, Kat, what changed in those 2 meetings? Did my understanding of marketing change? Nope. Did my background in ministry change? Nope. What changed was how you thought of me, okay? When you saw me as an author, instantly in your mind, I had credibility. I was an expert. And when I walked into your office, you had pen in hand, ready to take down the prescription that I was going to give you. That changed everything in my life and my business. I didn't get any smarter, Kat. I didn't do my business any better.
But you did do something that most people don't, because we know that there's a ton of people out there who've written books, right? And they're sitting in their bookshelf collecting dust. right? Or,
Exactly.
Worse, they wrote a book that wasn't worth even leveling a table out with, right? So
Absolutely.
it's these, flimsy, and I've done it. I did it initially when I was in business, write a book, be an authority. It didn't actually make me an authority because I wasn't also ready to claim the authority.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to step into that role. right? And realize that I don't have to know everything about marketing. What I need to know, honestly, is about 5% more than my prospect does.
Yeah.
Right. But it's understanding how credibility works in the mind. And when you publish a book, it's great. When you become an Amazon bestseller, that's a next level. When you have media credentials, that's seen on ABC, NBC, Fox, right? The audience looks at that and goes, wow, people are listening to this person. They're now a thought leader. That's credibility in the mind of your audience. And I think that's where most business owners really miss the mark, is they don't understand that marketing happens between the ears of your prospect and how they think about you primarily. They think it's about being on TikTok or LinkedIn or Facebook or having a podcast. All great things. They all work. But if you don't have the strategy before that you can preempt all of that by saying, that's my guy, that's my gal, I'm following. I mean, we all know and love Tony Robbins, right? Who was he? All right. Some people love Tony Robbins. My question to you is, why is he who he is?
Yes, his marketing is on point. I can absolutely give him that.
35 years ago, he was a no-name walking on fire until he published his book, became a household name, and had that one consistent message over and over and over for 35 years and built a monstrosity, right?
Right.
A local business owner can take that same strategy and implement it, whether you're a local business owner, whether you're a national coach, doesn't matter. Your audience is not everyone.
Oh, no, absolutely. And you're hitting on some things of like people don't really look at. So, I see these stop go kind of entrepreneurs, right? Where they start a strategy, they're not getting instant gratification. The results aren't there, and so then they modify and they pivot. So, there are a lot of times where people are using the wrong strategy because they're not putting a little bit of effort into seeing whether or not two things. One, it aligns to your strengths. Two, whether your audience will even respond to it. But I love what you were sharing, which is really about, really this focused strategy with one message, right? Of really knowing what is the solution that you provide people and staying in your lane. Don't look left, don't look right, stay in your lane and keep marketing and build your credibility and authority by leveraging these other tactics, right? The book in and of itself doesn't establish credibility. You owning and deciding you want to be the authority doesn't do it, but it's this combination. And you talk about these, 3 credibility marketing platforms. So how do you leverage those as continuing to bolster and boost, your positioning, your brand, your credibility in the marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, it starts with your clear brand. It's your story. Everywhere I go, Kat, I tell my story of escaping prison. I tell my story of being a foster parent of 8 years, of being an adoptive parent, because all of those, somebody's going to connect with one of those, right?
Yeah.
Because we do business with people we know, like, and trust. But understanding that my whole story of escaping prison and publishing my book, that's the seed that has now grown into this oak tree of Paperback Expert. So I tell them that story because it separates me from all the other people who do similar things, right? Then we take the book and we make you an Amazon bestseller, because I know in the mind of your audience, if you're a financial advisor, right, and you're looking out, or a coach, it doesn't matter. How many coaches are there trying to help people in business in some way or another?
What's the saying? You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a business coach.
Right. They're all over the place. So why should I stop and connect with you? It has to be your story and your journey, right? And then the podcast aspect, I hear people all the time, well, how many downloads do you have on your podcast? I don't know. Don't really care, right? It's for my audience, and it's for building relationships so that we can co-promote one another and share you with my audience. You're sharing me with your audience. And you know what? Our businesses are going to grow. We're going to gain clients. That's why it's a profitable podcast. And so we've taken that concept and put it into a playbook, is what we call it, step-by-step guide that we can give to one of our clients if that's the right strategy for them. We have 18 playbooks. They're all step-by-step guides of how do you connect with your audience on a regular basis? How do you maintain top of mind awareness? How do you give them what they want in your message? Okay. Last year, I've got on my my door over here a picture of a drill bit, because last year Black & Decker sold millions of 1/4-inch drill bits, right? And if you look at Black & Decker advertising, they want to tell you about the drill bit, the steel they use in the drill bit, the quality of their drill bit, and the people who make the drill bit. All of that falls into the category of who cares. Because the research has been done that of all the people who bought those drill bits, not one person wanted to own a 1/4 inch drill bit. They all wanted a 1/4 inch hole.
Mm.
In our marketing, too many times we're talking about the drill bit. Look at all of my designations. I have been around for 18 years. I don't care about you. I have an issue and a problem. How do you help me get that? And when you turn your message around to say, I help you do this, that draws me into you. Now I can share with you my background, my story, my journey, and say, I get it. Here's somebody else I've helped do exactly what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Talk about the hole that they're trying to fill, not the drill bit. You're not that important. You're not that impressive.
Well, I mean, and it's not necessarily what they want. So it's kind of, when you go to a restaurant, are you there? I mean, it's, other than being a vegetarian, are you there to order the vegetables, or are you there to actually get the main entree? Right. And so what's the thing? So what is it? Someone, they want to get to the dessert cart, basically, essentially,
Yes.
Assuming that, they have the calorie bandwidth to be able to get there.
That's right.
But really explaining kind of what that result of what it is that you do versus the features, the process. Even people, you know what? They don't care about the process. They don't care about how fast the drill goes or anything like that. Really, they really want it. Like you said, they want to know what the end result is. And however they get there, they don't really care. They just want to get there.
And what makes you choose one restaurant over the other 3 that offer the same type of food, right? It's the experience. It's the ambiance. It's the people around you. They're going to buy you much more than they are whatever you do.
Yeah.
Right. I can find out how to grow my business on Google. Right. I can, but I need a coach. I need somebody that I connect with who will take me, who will lead me, who will guide me, that I can trust, that I can share my soul with, that I can say, okay, yeah, you have the credibility, because it's that I've been trying to find a great definition of credibility, and it's really hard. Right. And I ask people all the time, I say, well, what is credibility? And they're like, I don't know. You ever try to find a definition of marketing? When I wrote my book, I found like, 42 of them. They all stink. So I created my own. And so to me, marketing is everything you do to gain and retain a client. Period. End of story. That's what marketing is. It's all encompassing. I'm looking for that for credibility. And shy of that, and we'll talk about it later, is we created a credibility calculator that allows anybody to determine on a scale of 0 to 100, what's your credibility score in the eyes of your audience, because that's all that matters. You can have 1,000 designations behind your name. But if your audience doesn't care, you get a 0.
Right. So you talked about marketing in terms of the effect of like attracting, nurturing, retaining, and this being this cyclical process. And I really appreciate the way that that's really what marketing is.
Yeah.
So if we follow that down in terms of, buyers, right? So what is marketing also, but to have buyers? You talk about preconditioning people to buy. Yeah. So how does that play? Because, I'm very much against the bro marketing, the manipulative, NLP, I'm going to create some fake scarcity BS, right? And I know you're not about that life too.
That's right.
So tell me about your philosophies and a little bit about your process of how to precondition people to want to buy from you versus the other thousands of people who do what you do.
Sure. So on my website, when you go there, you're going to see a video. It's going to be me for about 1.5 minutes explaining the concept of our credibility upgrade program, right? The book, the best-selling author. Then you drop into our funnel. When you're in that funnel, we're going to do some pre-education. I tell you, when you get in that funnel, you're going to get the process and the pricing by the time you get through my funnel. I'm going to give it all to you, because when you show up on the sales call, as most people call it, I call it a conversation. I want you to know the price. I want you to know the process. I want you to know, to have already said in your head, yes, I think this is for me. I just need to make sure Michael's the right guy, that he is consistent. So that to me is preconditioning. I'm giving you the information you're looking for. I'm not doing a bait and switch. I'm not saying, well, to get the price, Kat, you got to get on the phone with me. I'm not doing that. Okay. My closing question on my sales calls, Kat, is, Kat, we've had a great conversation here. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
And I shut up and you tell me, and you and I both know what's going to happen. It's okay. And if you say, you know what, Michael, this is great, but I don't think it's right, I'm going to say, I think you're right. And that's okay, because I'll be here when you need me. I'm not holding back. Too many people in business they're scared to hold back, or, well, if I give them the price, they're going to scare away and they won't talk to me. Well, then they're going to say no when you waste your time on the phone.
Yeah.
Give them the information, share with them video testimonials of clients you've helped, peers. Give them everything you can, because you know what that does, Kat? Not only does it help them and preconditions them. I don't want to talk to very many people on the phone, honestly, on Zoom.
Yep.
But I want the ones that I talk to say yes.
Well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, which is a lot of people are withholding information. And there's this, fear that people will say no because they don't see the value because you didn't have enough time. Then make sure that you're sharing the value in your marketing and your content. What are the results? There's so many mistakes that I'm seeing online from even established business owners. And I'm talking 7 and 8 figure people.
Right.
So just imagine what they would be making if they were doing some of these things. Really just kind of holding back. And at the end of the day, most everything that anybody does is Googleable.
It is. It totally is.
But it's the fact that people aren't doing it that is where the strategist and the coach and the consultant come into play.
Yeah, it really is. There are some tugs of war that we all fight with. One of them is time versus money.
Yep.
Right? And especially for solopreneurs or small business owners, time, most of the time, is the commodity. I don't have enough time.
So one resource we're running out of.
That's right. So how do you come in and help a business owner save some time? They're going to give you their money. Okay, because that's the valuable resource that can't be replaced. The other tug of war is intellect versus emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we all buy emotionally, but if you look at most of the copy, it's drill bit tech, it's drill bit writing. Change the game, and that's one reason in our funnels and what we do. I'm super emotional. You cut off my arms, I go mute, Kat. I mean, this is how I talk, right? And in my funnels, I've got little videos and I send people looms all the time. And because I want them to know who I am. And if I offend you, if you don't connect with me, please don't buy from me, because it won't be good for either of us. Right.
I mean, that's personal branding. Like, you got to know who you're going to be working with. If you're holding back, and we've met those people, I've met them where they're one way online and they're a completely different way. And what better way to establish distrust by basically showing up as a psychopath and bipolar, whatever it is you want to call, in whatever way they're dealing. But there is this essence of marketing is supposed to do one of the biggest level of support marketing can do is actually repel all the wrong people.
Absolutely.
It's attracting and repelling at the same time, but most people aren't going to be a right fit. And we want to get them. For me, it's in service. Go find the person that is right for you, but I'm going to show you what you're coming and working with right off the bat. So I can really appreciate how you just show up and let people know who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah. And it resonates with my tribe, my audience, right? There are some people who we just don't get on, I come to your podcast mixers and other podcast mixers, and there are some people we just don't fit. Great. I'm okay. They're good people. I'm good people. Let's go. The other mistake that I see a lot of people doing is following all the gurus, right? So you say, free plus shipping on your book. This is what you do. And you run hundreds of people through your product and you well, that works for them, but what you don't normally see is the back end that they've got, right? That you don't have. And just because they're doing it doesn't mean you need to do it. Mm-hmm. And just because it looks successful on the outside doesn't mean it is successful. And so it goes back to strategy over tech. What's right for you? Where can you shine? And it goes back to your message. I was talking to an attorney coach the other day, and she's struggling with her message. And as she and I talked for about 30 minutes, it came to me. And I'm like, I think your message is along these lines. And she was like, yeah, how'd you do that? And I said, well, that's my gift, right? I just have the ability to look into your business. But at the same time, I've got 3 coaches who look into my business for marketing because I'm too close to it.
Yep.
And I think business owners forget the value of a solid coach who understands them well enough to go, nope, that's where you need to go right there. And as you said earlier, forget everything else, right? Mm-hmm. I'm an idea generating factory, Kat. I mean, I come up with new ideas all the time. And my son who works in the business, he's like, Daddy, no, right here. This is what we're doing. Focus and absolute clarity. The 3 words that I try to live by are clarify, simplify, multiply. Mm-hmm. In that order. Everybody wants to multiply.
Well, and that's where a lot of people, I think, start self-sabotaging, where they achieve a certain level of success, and that's great. And then they're like, what's next? And I remember asking that of someone. I was like, all right, what do I do now? And they said, do it again. And I was like, what do you mean do it again? I want to do the next thing. And no, do it again. Because if you don't do it again and do it again and do it again, then you're going to think that everything happened out of luck.
Yeah.
And there's no room for luck in business. All of this is strategy. There's so much more control that people have in their business than they realize in terms of the daily actions that they're focusing on, what kind of marketing they're putting out, what kind of tactics they can leverage. Which kind of brings me to the question that I wanted to ask, which is, what do you recommend to amplify, to take the biggest advantage of positioning your authority, your expertise, your credibility? I know you promote podcasts, you do books. Is there anything else that people should be leveraging that you're often seeing that they're not, as part of building their credibility so that they can have more of these sales conversations?
I do. Yeah. There are two that just jump right off the top that I tell everybody. And most people, the first one, people go, that doesn't work anymore. And that's email. I send out a daily email to my list. Now understand, my list is curated, right? I don't want 10,000 people who just maybe know me. No, I want people who know, like, and trust me on my list. They get a daily email that's infotainment. Okay. It's not boring. It's really fun. So I stay in touch with my list. And from staying in touch, top of mind, you might not read all of my emails, but every day you're going to get an email from me and my name's going to be top of mind. So becoming that, positioning myself in their mind on a regular basis, and then inviting them to what I call micro trainings. So it's not a full length webinar. It's about a 15-minute, 98% all content. The last call to action is like, you can probably go do this yourself, Kat. If you want some help, here's what I'm offering.
Right.
Schedule a call. That's it. When you start offering those on a regular basis to your list, who hears from you every day, you're going to convert a lot of those people who are on your database, because really I call it a dormant database, because business owners are so focused on, I need more leads. I need more leads. I need more people on the front end. But they forget to nurture these people who are here, and a daily email and a regular micro training to that list keeps them engaged with who you are, offers them great value, and positions you as the expert, so that when they are ready, they will. I had somebody schedule a call with me. It's next week. It's credibility conversation, right? I checked. He's been on my list since 2017. Yeah. 5 years he's been on my list. Now he's ready to have that conversation.
Right.
Praise God.
And that's like one of the most important things, though, that I just don't see a lot of people talking about, which is it's not about forcing someone to make a business decision, right? Like, you can't, if someone's not ready to buy, they're not ready to buy. And actually, the more you push them, the more they're going to dig down and say no, and then definitely go and buy from someone else. Right. I always talk about what you want to do is continue to stay relevant and on someone's radar, so that when they are ready to make that decision, you're someone who they consider buying from, because you've been relevant, because you've continued to nurture it, because, you happen to treat them like a human being with a pulse and not just a credit card number. That's right.
You want to be the one they think of first and feel the best about when they have a need for your service.
Which that's kind of really what credibility comes down to, is an emotional, like you said, people make a decision from an emotional state. There are lots of people, they'll even actually pay more because they like you versus someone else. I've had plenty of people go, you know what? I have these three people to choose from. I just vibe better with you. And I'm like, great, let's get started. And other people who are like, see the red, they're like, nope, hell no. Hard right, and great, go find the person that's, more conservative. And that's fantastic. They're there to support you, because there is an energetic alignment, because when that's there, and that's the other piece that I see a lot of times missing from successful programs, is this guru on the mountaintop speaking down to the masses, right? Yes. Whereas I love taking an approach of getting, hey, I'm here right next to you. Like, you're getting access. And I know you're one of those people too, who gets involved with their client's business versus just, kind of looking at it from a double pane glass window.
Yeah. I'm having a call tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with a client who called me in. I mean, nothing's working for her right now. She's been having all these consultants and things. I said, okay, time out. And we're not supposed to do these, one-on-one conversations without charging lots of money. I said, who cares? Let's get on the phone and figure out what's going on in your business. And we're going to have a great call tomorrow. And because that's what it's about. It's about facilitating growth in her and her business.
Adding value. Like,
totally.
There are people who talk about, you should, exactly like you said, you shouldn't get on the phone. You shouldn't do these things. And I'm not saying go on a 4-hour, like, free kind of thing. But when you're selling high ticket, and we're talking about 10s, 20s, 30s, 50s, thousands of dollars, right? Things like that. that doesn't happen without a conversation. That doesn't happen without building a relationship. There are people who are ready to buy now. And there are a lot of times that those people, they've been lurking. They've been in the shadows. You don't know about them because they don't want you knowing about them.
That's right.
But they're watching, they're looking.
And that's the value of having a podcast, because I may not request your book because I may not want to be on your list yet, but I'll go listen to your podcast. I'll hear you for a few months. Then I'll opt in. I'll get on your email list. I'll hear your videos. I'll see you on somebody else's. You're right. They're watching you. And then when they're ready, they're going to self-select and say, okay, let's have a conversation.
Some of my highest investment clients have come from, they didn't opt into anything. They weren't even on my email list. They weren't even in my Facebook group. It was just people that I networked with, that I had conversations with, that I added value to, that I connected to other people. And it really comes down to, like you said, what is the emotional experience that you're providing people? Because a positive reaction like that, it builds that trust that you're going to be there for them when they need you to be there for them.
Yeah. It's a lot like the ocean. So if you go to the beach, you look at the ocean, what do you see out in the ocean? You see the waves. And though they could pummel you and hurt you, what will kill you is the current underneath.
Yeah.
And the consistency of who you are, how you show up, and what you say is the current of your credibility. And that's what's going to draw people to you to say, yes, I see Kat. She's consistent everywhere she goes. She says the same thing. She shows up. That's what draws people in. Business owners just need to do it. They need to own themselves, really. I gave up being somebody else about 3 years ago. I said, I'm just done. I'm just going to be Michael. And if you don't like me, well, that's okay. And it's been the most freeing journey because I'm true to myself. I'm true to my brand message. And I know I can help people. And no, I'm not the guru on the mountain, right? I know some things, but not only do I share them with my clients, I give them systems to put in their business, because business owners don't do that and they struggle. It's like, you need to build a system to do micro trainings, a system to do daily emails, a system to do gifting. And then you build these one on top of the other. It's like pancakes.
Yeah.
Call them stackables. And then in 6 months or a year, you've got 3 to 6 systems that are marketing with your message. It's not rocket science. It just takes some time, takes some focus, and it takes somebody to go, how do you, this is how you do it. Stop chasing everything. Stay true to yourself, your message, your brand, and it's going to work so much better.
Yeah. Michael, you've been amazing. There's a lot of nuggets, and I know you've got more to share when it comes to, doing all the things that you do and building credibility and leveraging these different strategies. How can people get in touch with you and learn more about, all of what you shared today?
Wow. Thank you, Kat. The easiest way is just go to our website, it's paperbackexpert.com. When you get there, at the very top, there's a link that says, click here for get your credibility score. We created this credibility calculator, 20 questions in under 5 minutes. We'll deliver to you your score 0 to 100 of how does your audience see you in terms of credibility. And then I've got after that, there's a 5-video series that says, okay, now here's how you improve your credibility. Okay. At the end of that, you drop on my daily email list, and you can obviously opt out at any time, but you get to know who I am. And then obviously my website's full of how we've helped people create and publish their book without writing a word and all of that. So paperbackexpert.com is the best place to find me and the credibility calculator.
Awesome. Any parting words for the listeners today?
Be yourself, find out your story, tell your story, be you, because that's who I really want to know. And tell your story because it really is important.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael, for being on today.
You're welcome, Kat. It's been so much fun.